Hey everyone, and welcome to the Dota 2 Builds of the Week, the weekly series where I show you guys top 5 meta builds to help you get started with new heroes in Dota 2. As always, a link to my Twitch is down in the description below if you'd like to see the build testing live, as is a link to each of the builds we're discussing today. This video is also sponsored by Gamerzclass, and we'll be discussing that a little later on. With that being said, we're talking about Position 1 Bloodseeker to start the video off. Bloodseeker is one of those heroes that has seen a bit of a resurgence now that the Stockholm Major has come to a conclusion, and even the overall winners OG was pulling him out. And so Bloodseeker has seen some play in the Major, and so, you know, a lot of people are interested in seeing how Bloodseeker's played. So let's talk about that right now. So the nice thing about Bloodseeker is he has kind of like a stock build, a build that kind of works in all general senses. Obviously, as you start to get more experience with Bloodseeker, you can start to kind of like move your build around a little bit and make some other choices. But this one is a good stock build for you. Basically, you're focusing on the right side of the talent tree. Blood Rage and Rupture, it's all you want. And then the build, you want Blood Right early on. It does pure damage, and not only that, it helps you during the laning stage to like zone out enemies, which can be very effective. It also has a very wide area of effect. So it is a great value point, okay? It doesn't scale so much in damage as effectively. It's the silence you're really after, but the silence really becomes effective later on when you start to team fight. With that said, you want the sustain of Thirst early on. Thirst is going to allow you to basically sustain your lane, and then you're going to want to take value points in Blood Rage as well, which I know it's kind of getting cut off a little bit there, but Blood Rage is going to allow you to essentially farm faster, trade better, and that's exactly what you want. And one of the core elements of the build is that with Blood Rage, you are going the Aghanim Shard, which provides Bloodseeker with a 2% Blood Rage effect, where when he's hitting somebody, he's doing 2% of their health in pure damage, and that actually heals Bloodseeker as well, which is super beneficial, and again, helps him to trade more effectively. With that being said, the main build here, you're basically taking as much stats up front. Wraithband into Phase Boots. Power Treads is also an option if you so choose. Maelstrom, because Mjolnir is absolutely amazing on Bloodseeker. With the attack speed he can put out with Blood Rage, you definitely want something like a Mjolnir. The one thing about Bloodseeker that is kind of problematic is he has no inherent stun. So you rupture someone and then you just TP. Get used to it. It's literally the counter to Rupture. You just immediately TP. That's why you build an early Basher. You want a Basher on Bloodseeker, and the speed at which he attacks really helps you to kind of solidify the amount of bashes that you can get basically within the cooldown. You want an early BKB because you don't want to get controlled in the fights. He is an agility based carry, so if you are controlled in a fight, you basically just die right away. So the BKB is absolutely necessary. And then Blink is great too, because you can blink Rupture, which is great, and then you can kind of catch enemies by surprise, and naturally Abyssal Blade. With that being said, Bloodseeker can be played in either position 1 or position 3. He is very versatile right now and a hero that you've got to check out. I want to take a moment to talk about one of the greatest resources on this planet for people that love Dota 2 the way you and I love Dota 2, and that's Gamerzclass. Gamerzclass is a website that essentially is a smorgasbord of amazing Dota 2 content. And whether you are a brand new player simply trying to understand the ropes and get a handle on the game in the first place, or you're someone who's been playing for a long time and you want to push yourself to the next level, Gamerzclass has you. And the thing that I love about Gamerzclass is that, listen, I'm a teacher by trade, and one thing I love about this is that it doesn't just say, oh, here's how you click the buttons, or here's how you play this hero. It goes way deeper than that. We've all heard people say, oh, you can't have impact as a support. Well, here's a course to teach you how to have impact as a support. We all know that in Dota 2, mindset is everything, and we have a professional player teaching about how mindset and motivation can improve your Dota 2 game. And then we have pros like Nico Baby teaching you how to carry like pros carry, teaching how to play individual heroes. It's absolutely incredible. And when you consider that these players are at the absolute top tier of Dota, you start to realize how valuable a resource like this is. Now, I'm not joking when I say that Gamerzclass has top-tier content creators creating content to help you level up your Dota 2 game. You have professional players like Nico Baby, one of the best carry players in the world, creating courses to help you gain that sweet MMR. You have fan favorites like Coccia, right? How can you not want to take a course from one of the absolute best offlaners and mids in the game in Coccia? And then you have two-time TI champion Thompson, who is creating content to teach you how to play mid, to do his crazy builds that he is absolutely famous for. This is what you get with Gamerzclass. And the best part, if you use the link in the description and comment section that I've included down below, you'll get your first month for 99 cents. And not only will you be supporting this absolutely incredible Dota 2 channel, but you'll also be getting access to some of the greatest Dota 2 content on the planet. Alright, so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Alex, why are you showing me this absolutely toxic, disgusting Coddle mid? Well, it's because Keeper of the Light is one of those heroes that like is traditionally always been played as a support. But when a build comes around where you can play him as carry, which has kind of been experimented before, suddenly you're in a situation where he absolutely starts to dominate the pro scene. And in the hands of a very skilled and capable player, Coddle mid can be one of the most oppressive heroes in Dota 2 right now. Probably going to get nerfed, let's be honest. But if you want to test yourself a little bit, I got a Coddle mid meme build for you. So let's talk about it right now. So basically, this is not, I'm going to be very clear, this is not the support Coddle build. If you go position for Coddle and you do this build, you are hard griefing. You are griefing like a madman. So let's just talk about this. Remember, this is mid Coddle, carry Coddle. What you're doing here, you're doing the Null Talisman, you're rushing bots. You want those boots to travel. Not only does he benefit from the move speed, so he can be pretty much everywhere on the map, but he wants to be able to utilize Illuminate and basically absorb the entire map, create a ton of map pressure with Illuminate and his bots. You're rushing Spirit Vessel, right? It simply allows you to, like, you know, listen, you're a part of almost every single kill. It really helps you to take down, you know, your targets, and you're constantly getting the extra charges because of your ability to blow people up with Dagon. I think this might be the first time we've featured Dagon. I've talked about Nick's Dagon before, but Build of the Week Dagon, right to level 5 Dagon. You gotta love it. That's what you're doing with Coddle. You're going after the Dagon. And the key thing is here is what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are using Solar Bind with Dagon. Why? Because Solar Bind, if you don't know, actually reduces magical resistance. It's similar to the ancient seal of Skywrath Mage. Magic resistance reduction, and then you hit him with the Solar Bind, you hit him with the Dagon. It's important you do it in that order so that you can kind of maximize your burst potential. Theoretically, you should do Solar Bind, Vessel, and Dagon. And then you got E-Blade. What an amazing thing here. So not only are you doing initial damage with the E-Blade when you target them, but it's going to actually spell amp your skills as well, which is great. You basically illuminate everything. So then the build turns into Solar Bind, E-Blade, Dagon, and Vessel, obviously. And then you get your Aether Lens and Octarine. Of course, you can do it from even further away. If you're looking to survive, you know, BKB and Lincoln Sphere are very valuable depending on the situation. Ags, if you're in low MMR and, you know, there's lots of team fighting, the Will-O-Wisp, no one ever targets it. It's basically like free control every single team fight. It's expensive. But if you've done this build correctly and you're off to a running start, then you're probably going to have a ton of fun, you know, dominating with the amount of money you've made, and the Ag Scepter probably will come pretty easily. That being said, Coddle mid, a really interesting choice if you're interested in trying something very new in the mid position. I was super excited to see Nightstalker getting pulled out during the Stockholm Major, because Nightstalker is one of those heroes that he jumps into the meta, he becomes really prevalent from the offlane, and then he gets nerfed and everyone forgets about him and you never see him again. And Nightstalker is one of those heroes that is a lot of fun to play, has a very unique play style, and can be like literally a carry from the offlane. He can completely control and dominate the mid game. So he's one of those heroes that's really fun to play, and so I'm glad to see him starting to see play again. So let's talk about the key build for Position 3 Nightstalker, because it's actually different than the last time we featured him in the builds of the week. So what you're doing here is you are taking stats up front. Now, we're not doing double bracer. There are some people that do prefer the double bracer. It's up to you. But I am actually seeing a lot more bracer into Orb of Corrosion into phase boots, because what you're going to do is when you have these kind of items at the first night, you run at the first target and you literally just punch them to death. Like when nighttime falls and you have these 3 items, you just run at the first person you see, support, carry, doesn't matter, and you just whack them and they can't get away from you, provided you're able to fix your lane equilibrium, pull it back so they don't just stand under tower. Even if they're under tower, right? Even if they're under tower, you can probably still kill them if you you know, glyph your wave or something like that. But you are going Windlace into Echo Saber, which essentially allows you to basically move faster. You want to move faster, get on top of guys. The Echo Saber is great because once you're on top of guys, you right-click them, and you right-click them hard. Not only does it allow you to have that burst damage, it gives you everything you need. It gives you the strength, gives you the damage, it gives you the regeneration for mana. It also gives you a movement slow, which is great because when coupled with Crippling Fear, it allows people to stay within the range of your silence. It kind of holds them in place, right? Kind of like what a Ricky would want. Keep them in the silence radius. Except with Crippling Fear, it actually moves with you. So you want people to be slowed and you want to stay on top of them. That's why you go Phase Boots, Windlace, and Echo Saber. When you're Crippling Fear someone, you really want to stay on top of them so they can't actually cast anything while you're punching them to death. BKB, because you don't want to get controlled into Blink Dagger. Again, Blink Dagger is super valuable here because you want to initiate on top of core targets. You want to make it so that if they have a hero that, you know, can, like a anti-mage, for instance, you blink on top of them, you're crippling fear, he can't blink away now. You can't blink away, you void him, you punch him to death, and that's it. So that's why you also go Basher. You want to control the people within Crippling Fear. That is basically the essence of how Nightstalker is being played. You're initiating on top of guys. You're using Crippling Fear to hold them, kind of prevent them from doing any of their casting. You're punching them to death, and then you're going on to the next target, okay? And Dark Ascension, that is the talents you're focusing on here. You're taking Dark Ascension all the way through with the Strength talent if you can. Now, with that being said, the Crippling Fear talent's also very good. If you're having a good game and you have good itemization and you don't think you need the 20 Strength, take the Crippling Fear talent because it basically brings it from 15 seconds to 10, which is super valuable, lets you be much more active, and lets you kind of, you know, definitely have a bigger impact on the fight. Regardless, Nightstalker position 3 is back in the meta, and you'll love to see it. You know, Sir Action Slacks was a little upset when Windranger was picked non-stop by Seb and OG in the Stockholm Major. But what's interesting about this is that she did amazing. She was absolutely insane. Seb was absolutely unbelievable with Windranger and literally carried games from position 5 thanks to his ability to get multiple shackles at key moments and to generally just play like an absolute monster. And this is the position 4 Windranger guide. And the nice thing about this, I actually did a full beginner's guide on position 4 Windranger. I'll link it up above if you're interested in learning her completely from scratch. But basically, if you want a rundown of what the build currently is, it's Shackle Shot, Shackle Shot, Windrun cooldown into Shackle Shot, and Windrun gives invisibility. What you're doing here for position 4, you are taking some mana sustain into Tranquil Boots. So you want your Null Talisman, your Ring of Basilius. You're bringing this ward to block their small camp to prevent any pulls. Now, here's the core decision you need to make as a position 4. Now, remember, this is a very stock build. Solar Crest. Solar Crest is a great item, but however, if you don't have a PA or a Wraith King or like one of those right-clicking cores, you probably will. Solar Crest at 2,600 gold is like super value, but maybe once you finish your boots, your actual first support item should be a Force Staff. Maybe it needs to be a Yule Scepter, right? You're against an Axe, you're against a Legion or whatever. You're against a Slark, a Clockwork, you're against a Ricky, you get Force Staff, right? So your first item, it does not necessarily have to be Solar Crest. It might be one of these major support items first, right? If you want to be a nuisance and push towers, maybe you go Meme Hammer. I don't know. You decide. It's your MMR. But at the end of the day, Solar Crest, this can be easily replaced by any of these 4 items, okay? Generally speaking, depending on your game situation. Now, the core thing is you want to get this Agnum Shard. It's absolutely unbelievable. And, you know, get it before it gets nerfed. Okay, the Gale has the potential to completely shift team fights. It basically takes backliner supports that are generally pretty safe and just like forces them into uncomfortable positions. It's an absolutely unreal shard. And Blink Dagger is great too because you can blink into fights, initiate with your Shackle Shot, get the proper angles with your blink, and then Windrun out. Now, the key thing about the Blink Dagger that a lot of players do not really consider is that the Blink Dagger is great for initiating because a lot of lower MR players, they'll Windrun to initiate. But then you've initiated and now you're getting gone on and you have no way to get out. So the reason why Blink Dagger is so good on the Windranger is because you can blink in, shackle, and then Windrun out. So you get to save your Windrun to escape as opposed to initiate. So that's one of the major things that makes Windrun and Blink Dagger such a great combination with one another. And if you want to be a complete jackass from position 4 and go MKB, you know, Maelstrom or whatever, I ain't gonna stop you. Maybe you'll get reported, but Windranger is one of those position 4s that if you want to start being a little greedy, if the game's going well, you get a couple early kills, you could seriously do a ton of damage with like an MKB, Maelstrom, whatever, but you'll probably get reported. Regardless, Windranger position 4, Seb showed it to be an absolutely unreal choice, and I'm sure you'll find her to be great in your pubs as well. You know, I almost didn't include Bane in this video, and I'll tell you why. Every single time DPZ is in full swing or there's a major tournament, whether it be TI or one of the majors like the Stockholm Major, Bane comes into mind because Bane is constantly picked in these majors, constantly contested by pro players. And yet, if you're a relatively low MMR player in Dota, for some reason, no one wants to pick position 5 Bane. Like, it's rarely played because people rather last pick position 5 Anti-Mage to tilt their team out. And, I mean, that's a conversation for therapy. But anyways, Bane is amazing, and it's crazy that more people aren't playing Bane, especially at lower MMRs, considering he has an amazing ultimate that can completely change the course of any team fight. Amazing abilities in the laning phase. I mean, Brain Sap does pure damage. it's one of the best trading spells in the game. And you have Nightmare, which can be used properly as a pseudo-save. Actually, not pseudo-save, it is a save, right? There's a moment of invulnerability when Nightmare is utilized, and yes, it takes practice, but why not practice a great laning hero that does great things, right? Fiend's Grip is absolutely unbelievable. It's a spell immunity piercing ultimate that can completely change a team fight. And I mean, the only thing you need to really make a choice of with Bane, the only thing about this build that ever really changes is, am I taking more magic damage at level 10 or am I taking more physical damage at level 10? That's basically it. Everything else is pretty much stuck. The build's the same. Boots, wand, disassemble boots to build Aether Lens, make Tranquils, and then get a support item. It's Glimmer Cape, it's Force Staff, it's Yule's, it's Ghost Scepter, it's your Shard, which is great too. But, oh, also Ring of Basilius is pretty useful too. If you get like First Blood or something, which is possible with Bane, get a Ring of Basilius. Really helps with the laning stage and the extra mana regeneration you could utilize. But honestly, Bane, he's so good. You gotta play him. Why are Lomamars not playing one of the best laners in Dota? It's absolutely crazy. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. We will see you in the next Dota 2 video.